Hey guys, Dio here from nOb Control, and in this video I would like to show you my personal control setup for my DAW of choice, Reaper. So without further ado, let's get started. My control setup is centered around a standard Android tablet running a custom interface which I created with the free and open source software Open Stage Control. At the top of the interface, you can see several tabs, each corresponding to a profile in nOb Assignment Center, also known as NAC. Tapping a tab activates the corresponding NAC profile. This works both ways. Switching profiles in NAC will also update what's displayed on the tablet. My first tab features an interface for accessing my most commonly used functions when working in Reaper's Arrange view. In the bottom right corner, I've added a few buttons for basic functions such as recording, playing, stopping, or pausing. Above that, there are a few buttons that, when held down, allow me to use nOb to navigate the project and precisely position the edit cursor. I can zoom in and out vertically and horizontally, as well as scroll around. I can also move the edit cursor along the grid or adjust it pixel by pixel, allowing me to split items exactly where I want. Above that, there are a few buttons for adjusting the loop region. I can hold the left button to move the left loop point along the grid and the right button to move the right loop point. If I need to place a loop point at a very specific position, I can additionally hold the Find button and use nOb to adjust it with precision. Of course, I can also hold both the left and right buttons simultaneously to move the entire loop region left or right. In the bottom center section of the interface, there's a dedicated area for navigating and selecting items in the arrangement. Holding the plus button while pressing the arrow keys lets me select multiple items. Additionally, there are buttons for basic item functions, such as duplicating, copying, pasting, gluing items together, or looping the currently selected item. At the center of the interface, there are several buttons that let me use nOb to control key parameters of the currently selected item. I can move the item along the grid or adjust its start and end points by holding the corresponding button and turning the knob. I can also adjust the item's fade in and fade out or move its contents without affecting the start or end points. Finally, there's a button for adjusting the item's volume or velocity. For more precise control, I can hold the Find button while making any of these adjustments. At the top of the interface, we can see the name of the currently selected track. Next to it, there are buttons for adding a new track or a track for parallel processing. There are also arrow buttons for navigating between tracks and a delete button for removing tracks. Of course, there are several buttons for basic track functions, such as soloing, muting, arming for recording, or enabling touch mode for recording automation. There's also a button to show or hide any available automation for the selected track. When an automation track is selected, I can press the plus button to add an envelope point at the current edit cursor position. I can also hold the arrow button next to it and turn the knob to adjust the envelope point at that position, or, if no single point is present, the surrounding envelope points. This button here is used to cycle through the visibility states of child tracks. Two buttons I use very often are the volume and panning buttons. I can simply tap one of them to control the volume or panning of the selected track. Below that, there's a button to open the mixer and its corresponding interface on the tablet, which we will look at shortly. Below the mixer button, there's a button to open the MIDI editor for the selected item. Here, I can perform basic tasks such as adjusting a note's pitch, velocity, position, length, etc. However, I won't go into more detail at this point, as this interface is still in the early stages of development. Instead, I'd like to return to the mixer interface, which has some very interesting features.